When it comes to dressing up the outside of your goggles, you should go to your bucket of random electronic stuff. If you don't have a bucket of random electronic stuff, you should get one. Everyone deserves a bucket of random electronic stuff. So I have some things in here, which are, resistors and some ceramics and crap. And then I have this small cup full of vintage crap. Those tend to be a little bigger and gaudier. And it's really just a matter of your own preference, matching them up wherever it is that you would like to go with that. I think I'm going to go with the sort of one-side electronic idea, but who knows? Whatever. We'll see what happens. On this, I did paint the inside, and I ended up using some black nail polish, which was far better than the paint I have. And I followed the suggestions of someone who commented on one of the videos of using a little bit of nail polish on the tops of the LEDs, just to limit all of the glowing to inside the goggles. So now I'm going to lay out my various ideas, see how they look, and then I'll start attaching them to the goggles. I think the easiest way to mount them is actually to drill tiny holes and stick the pins through. So you just got to trim them up to a respectable length, and then drill some little pinholes with a power drill or your Dremel. The way I get the hole spacing correct is to drill one, use it as a pivot, and then just leave a scratch mark. So now I know precisely where the other hole should be. A dab or two of some super glue, and the first item is placed. I'll just let it dry and space out the rest of them. As you work, try a mix of colors and numbers and serial markings and polarities and stuff. Obviously none of this is actually being hooked up, but you might find some things that look better in certain places. Or, at least in one case, I'm using a capacitor there to actually hold a wire out of the way that it kept shorting out on. So on these, I'm going ahead and super gluing them. On the little ones with the longer wires that I'm going through the flat face of the goggles, I'm actually folding them over each other and soldering them together on the inside. They aren't held as firm, but they still can't come out, and I just don't see how it really matters one way or the other. I decided to put this little ceramic here. I'm trying to hide to some extent the elastic headband thing, and so what I did is I pushed it through, folded the tabs over, and you can see where I just put a little bit of solder, and that held it nice and firm. Sticks out kind of funny. Some of them are heavy. I'm trying to find a balance between things that look really cool. That would look frickin' awesome, but it's a chunk of change there. So I'm trying to find that balance between things that look cool and things that are gonna hang my head down when you're trying to dance at night. So here we are. One of the problems with a project like this is figuring out when precisely you're done. I'm not a big fan of the back belt, and if I had more time, I think you should replace that with, I don't know, some leather. Cut up an old child's or girl's faux leather belt. But I did get my solenoid mounted on there, or what's left of it rather, and I've attached wires to its various contacts and to the top of it and whatnot. And none of these wires do anything or go anywhere, but they do kind of add to it. And the idea behind this was some sort of power pack, I guess. By blacking out the tops of the LEDs, they completely disappear up above, giving it much cleaner lines. And I will probably go after the lenses with a little bit of black and brown Sharpie, sort of to give them the blast damage kind of look. Almost done. So I found this hunk of board, and I believe it came out of an old cassette deck. Anyways, when I drive power to it like that, I get the lights to come on, and they even flash, which is nice. I assume something's overloading, tripping, and coming back. But yeah, I don't care. It'll be fine for the time I want to run it. It's now been doing this for 5 minutes, so I expect it'll do it a little longer. Nothing seems to get hot. Doesn't seem to dim out my other lights too bad. I believe this is a winner. And I will put this, and this will be the last thing I add, because again, it's kind of hard to figure out when you call it quits. And I'll put this on the side of my goggles, on the side opposite of the power supply. Chink, chink. So we just get a little flashy pop, a little pizzazz. All of it is just built from scrap and garbage. And other than the time that I've spent messing around filming and whatnot, you're not looking at a very long project. This could be done in an hour or two. This advanced with some lights and some flashy, 2.5, 3. So there it is, basic finished product. I've got my blinking power board over here. I've got all my nice wires and whatnot. I've got my little solenoid there, which does nothing, and it's attached to all of this other stuff over here. It does nothing. I'm going to take a Sharpie, black it up a little bit, and we should be good to go. Here are the completing glasses. I took and added a whole bunch of superfluous wires, a little bit of blacking to sort of simulate some blast damage, as you were. I've got my broken open solenoid because the big copper coil is really cool. Some more superfluous wiring, and then a cluster of ceramic resistors to kind of simulate a power supply. Of course, here is my real power supply. It is just this battery pack. That's off. That's on. Seems to work just fine. I hope you have good luck with your own projects, and I appreciate you watching.